Hello everyone, my name is Misfeldt and I'm on a daily basis contractor for Per Aarsløf, and I got the pleasure to introduce Mauri to the last speech before we go to lunch. I hope you're all up for it. It's extremely interesting what is happening in Finland at the moment, and we have a chance today to hear a little about what is happening in IPD project concerning tunnel works, and I'm looking very much forward, and please enjoy. Mauri.
Okay, thank you. Hello everybody, nice to meet you all. So my name is Mauri Mäkiaho and come from Finland.
Oh, sorry.
Wow. This was it.
My mistake. There it is.
Shortly about my history, I have been working as a civil servant a little bit more than 20 years, and before that I was working as a consultant. And most of the time I have been working with these public projects and tendering processes with them and so on. I'm working in the Finnish Transport Agency. This was before Finnish Road Administration, but some years ago we had to take for our responsibilities also the waterways and railways. So we are taking care of the whole traffic systems. Of course there is private-owned railways and roads also in Finland, but we are taking care of those which are owned by the state. And our mission is very simple. We have to take care of everything, but also try to improve it. These are some numbers which tell you something about the volumes, but I'm not going to go so deep into these them. Finland is north from here, and there is some specialities. Most of the population is living in the southern part of Finland. But then in the northern part of Finland there is also lots of tourist industry and also some heavy industry. And the country is quite wide. We have a long border with Russia, and we are making business with them quite a lot, so we have to have good connections to them, with them also. And on the southern coast there is lots of ports to import and export. About these integrated project deliveries in Finland, everything started in a bigger scale in 2008, and then there was a research project about it in Finland, and then we could increase our understanding about lean principles and so on. And after that, also we were doing some benchmarking with the Australians, and this Jim Ross introduced this alliance method to us, and we were started to see if there is some difficulties with it, how we can implement it in Finland. And also we have to see about the EU legislation. But in 2010 we saw already that we can solve these problems. They are not so big. And 2011 we started our first alliance project already. And in the same time there was several other coming all the time, and we are having this LIP conference in Tampere, Finland, and then there was already 4 alliance projects going on. And every year a little bit more, and so now when we are here there is 23 alliance projects going on in Finland. So we choose this project alliancing to be the IPD model in Finland, and wanted to implement it to the Finnish market. But there were some issues what we have to search a little bit more, because the difference between Australian laws and EU laws. In Australia, there is no need to use price in comparison during the tendering process at all. And the other issue is that they don't have to write out about anything about the criteria. But this is not any problem for us because this is everyday life when we are having tendering processes in the public area. We have to write out every criteria very carefully. But this price component and how we are going to solve this and get a real alliance, this was a bit of a problem. And in EU, we need something when we are going to the tendering processes. And we were searching about that if we can have some budget critic during the tendering process, and we wanted to see some methods. What are the companies, what kind of methods companies are using by pricing? We wanted to see something about that. But as a price component, we decided to use the fee. So we are not asking any offers about the price, but because in Alliance we pay all the direct costs by open books. But the fee is the thing what we can ask. And we told during the tendering process, when we know our project, what are we doing in there, we told that the direct cost will be something like that. We give an exact sum, so you can calculate what kind of fee do you want if the direct costs are, for example, 150 million euros or something like that. And what is the final target cost? The fee will be fixed, of course. So far, we have been using this method so that the fee offer is 25% weight when we are evaluating about the offers. And because the weight is only 25%, we can minimize the risk that there will be too low offers about fee. But the quality issue has been 75% so far in every project. And the European Commission rejected claims against using this alliance model September 2013. And here is some statistics about it. So you can see there is all the alliance projects so far, what I know. I have some cases. I will talk a little bit more about these FTEs alliances. This first Lielahti-Kokemäki Railroad project, it is now ready. And we have the final results about it. And then there is this Tampere Road Tunnel project, which is my project. It is under construction now. And this Taavetti-Lappeenranta main road improvement, it is now just being started in its development phase. But there is no results yet about it. This is some results about the costs in Lielahti-Kokemäki Alliance project. Our budget was a little bit more than 100 million euros, and we see that the target cost should be somewhere nearby the 90 million euros. But when we started the development phase and started to search with the contractors and designers what is going to be the real target cost, it came to a reality that it is only 80 million euros. and estimated budget was about 2 million less than our budget before. So we went under the budget 1.6 million euros, but in the same time we could improve the railroad a little bit longer, because the target cost and the direct cost was so much less than we thought before. Maybe the main reason is here. In the upper picture you can see how we thought that this is going to be with traditional form of contracts. It seems that we have to make design and planning from 2011 to 2015, and we can start to implement in the middle of the 2014. But when we make this alliance contract and get this IPD team together, and we started to research some problems and make risk maintaining and so on, so we saw that we can start the implementation in the middle of 2012 already. And now I think it was day before yesterday when the project was finalized. This Tampere tunneling project, we have been estimated now when it's about 45% ready, that we got put the traffic inside the tunnel 6 months earlier, and at this moment we are estimating that the cost will be 500,000 under our budget. And so far we have had more than 20 innovations and more than 20 million euros savings for them. A little bit more this tunnel, it's you can see the red ball in there. It's 150 kilometers from Helsinki to north is the Tampere city. And there is more or less wasteland right now, because the main road is going in the middle of the Tampere city and nearby the shore. And Tampere city want to make a new housing, and there will be new housing for 4,000 people in this area if we can relocate the main road somewhere else. But there is no space anywhere else, so we have to put it in the tunnel. And this is what we are doing. We are doing 2 one-way road tunnels, and there is going to be interchange in the both end of the tunnel. And one speciality is that there is also a provision in the middle of the tunnel, in the third interchange area. It is a provision because the city plans don't show so far what kind of interchange we really need. Does it have to be perfect, or does it have to be one-way intersection? But we made a provision so ready that we don't have to shut the tunnel when the interchange is going to be built later. The traffic volume on this main road now is about 40,000 cars every day, and in the future it has been estimated that it will increase to 54,000 in year 2020. And our target cost is 180 million euros, and we started our development phase in this alliance 2012, and we worked together more than 1 year, only making plans about how we are going to implement this project. So the implementation period started October 2013. And the estimated schedule was that it is ready in use 2017 in the springtime, and after that we do some finishing, and it will be finalized 2018. These are the partners of this alliance. Finnish Transport Agency is taking care of 33% of the costs, and the Tampere city is paying the rest, 67%. And the service providers, the Lemminkäinen Infra is the main contractor, doing also the excavation, and then there is 2 designing companies in alliance. So during the development phase, we get 76 new ideas how we can do better, and 20 of them became innovations. I mean that there is some value in them. And during the development phase, there was nearby 70 experts working in alliance. Owners, experts from owners, experts from designers and contractors. But when we started the implementation phase, then there will be lots of subcontractors and sub-designers. And now this year is going to be the busiest year in this project, and right now there is 360 people working in there. And so far, after we started the implementation, we have had more than 100 new ideas. And from the building side is coming more than 50% of new ideas. And about those ideas, 50% is coming from subcontractors. And I don't have the exact numbers now, but I know that there is also innovations in there. But we don't know what is the final benefit, but it will be maybe at least several hundred thousands, but I think most likely some millions, maybe 2 million euros. About lean, this I think using IPD is lean, because the level of common understanding is much more higher level in the very beginning of the project. When there is every partners, when there is owners, designers and contractors thinking about what possibilities are there, what are the risks, and what kind of technical different solutions there could be. The level of the understanding is much more higher level, and that is very effective. Also, the using alliance, I think it is lean, because of the contract model and the commercial model is made like that it doesn't prevent making any changes flexibly. And also it challenges to everybody in a very positive way. And everybody will have benefit only if the whole project is going to succeed. Nobody is going to have any benefits about that if only their own delivery is going to be succeed. But they have to all the time look up about what is best for the whole project. And that means also that the subcontractors have to see the bigger picture all the time. This has been talked a little bit in the presentations before, and this incentive system is very, very important. We have been making a deal between the partners how we are going to share if we go under the target cost or if we go over, and also if we go lots over or lots of under. Then there is some key results areas what the owner side decided already before we started to ask proposals. But together we have decided with the contractors and designers how we are going to measure them and what is going to happen after that, what is the bonus and sanction system in the end. This risk sharing is one way to lower the costs. Of course, we have to search very carefully what kind of risks are in there and how we can eliminate them and how we share. And usually traditional form of contracts, it could be go this way. There is different risks for the clients and from the contractors and designers. And then we buy and sell. And sometimes we succeed good and sometimes not so good. But in Alliance there is no separate risks. We share practically we share all the risks. And because of this higher level of understanding, we can analyze the risks much more better, and we can think very carefully what we can eliminate, what we cannot do, and if there is some risks which are not fair to the contractor side, for example. In our target price is only provision for the risks 2 million euros, and it's going to be enough. I know it already. Then this how we set the target cost, and this design target method, I think this is very good way to do it. When we started the development phase about this project, we start to analyze the risks, and in the end of the development phase we price the risks, what was left in there. But also we were comparison the costs several times during the development phase, and we were searching where we are with the target cost. And in the same time we were searching new ideas and innovations all the time. And every time when we did this cost comparison, then we set new targets for every technical groups what were in there. And the results after 10 months working seems like this. This red line is our budget in stage budget. And when we started, it looked like this project is going to cost 2020 million euros. But after 10 months designing, maintaining the risks and making innovations, we found out that we could reach the level of 180 million euros. It's nearby half and half. 20 million euros came from innovations, and the other 20 million euros came from the risks. And what is important that at this moment is time to do the decisions. Now the owner side and the partners of alliances have to decide if we are going to implement this or not. Everybody has to agree that this target price is on the right level. And if nobody thinks that it is not in the right level, then we can continue with the development phase, or then we can shake hands and say goodbye. But we all agreed that this is the right price, and also the all other targets, what we said about those key results areas, we see that now we can start to implement these. And this is very safe for everybody, because the risks has been shared. Everybody say that the price is correct, and then there is outside experts used also who will look after that the price is tight, not loose, not too tight, but in the right level. And after that, we make a new contract from the development, from the implementation phase. This schedule management is also very important, and it is one way to lower the costs, because in this way, when we are working 5 or 6 times during the year, we are having these kind of workshops when we are checking our next 6 months schedule. And then in every smaller groups, in certain technical groups, they are doing the same kind of workshop and looking what is going to happen next 3 months and 1 month, 1 week, and even for 1 day if needed. And in these workshops also the subcontractors are with us all the time. And after starting the implementation phase, we have now set a new target about what I said before. We want to cut 6 months out of this implementation phase. And there is lots of costs in this kind of project that depends on how much we use time to implement this. And these ideas and innovations, I think the most important idea and also innovation is that you have to have some systematic process or effective way how you can exploit them. Because if the process is not working, you will get a lot of ideas, but nothing come out of them. We made promises in our project organization that everybody can give an idea, but he never have to explode it by himself. Somebody else will look after if there is potential or no, and who is responsible for the research, he can use the knowledge of the whole organization. And sometimes after 1 week searching, we already know if there is enough potential, so we can make a new plan or change the plans. Same thing goes with the risks. There has to be some systematic process going on all the time, so we can analyze the risks and we can find out how possible is it that the risk is going to happen, and if it happens, what it will cost. But at this point, it seems that we can make this 6 months earlier and a little bit under the budget also. Something about these key results areas. We had this schedule, safety, usability, and public image. Those values, what the owner decided before the tendering process is that are the values what we want to use in these projects. But everything else, indicators and the way of measure them, we design them together with the contractor and designers. And so far it seems that the schedule is going to be very successful. Also the safety. So they two issues, they don't have to fight for each others. Even if you are working very fast, you can do it safely. This usability is going to be measured after we put the traffic in the tunnel. And this public image is something what Finnish Transport Agency is measuring about all of its projects. And it tells us how we are taking care of the environment. For example, in this project there is tens of thousands of people who are living nearby the project, and we are making changes about their everyday lives because we have to change some roads and streets. And we put the target so that 85% at least have to be positive or neutral about those stories or articles what are in Finnish media. So far it is so that it is 82% of the public its tone is neutral or positive. So here we are a little bit behind right now. Then there is some positive modifier. You cannot get sanctions about these, but can get bonuses. If we are taking care of the traffic systems during the building sites, during the implementation phase, then we can get bonuses. And if we don't cause any damages for the environment, so we can also have some bonuses. And this life cycle cost is one which is, I think, very important. If we can find out something and prove it, that the life cycle cost will be, for example, 100 euros lower than usually, then we can get some bonuses. And I think at this time there is 5 different ideas what we are searching what concerns about this. Then there is some negative modifier. You cannot get any bonuses about these, but can get sanctions. If we cause some trouble, serious trouble to the traffic during the works, or if there is so-called grey economy, if there is some companies or subcontractors or something like that working in the building site and they are not taking care of their taxes or something like that, then there will be sanctions. And if something like that happens, that we cannot tell the taxpayers anymore that we are paying bonuses for contractors. If we cause some very serious accident, then the bonus ball will be empty after that. We said in the very beginning 2% sum in the bonus pool from the target cost. It's a little bit less than 2 million euros, and with this bonus and sanction system, this incentive system, you can either get better result or not so good if we don't be successful. But because we started about these alliances and when we started, everything was very new also in Finnish markets. So we decided to do everything very openly. And we have this transparent monitoring system, open web pages where everybody can look how we are doing and what we are doing. Then there is this project plans, what is the result of the development phase. It has been published as it is, and everybody can read it. And we have made this value for money report from the development phase, and we are writing a new one from the implementation phase. And we are telling in this report how we are doing and what is our opinion if we have been successful or not. There is project web pages, and also this Facebook is very useful when you are telling something about everyday's life in the building site. We are telling in there also our mistakes. If we tell something, if we have failed or if we have done some mistakes, we tell it first. We want to tell it first. We can learn about it. Is the internet working? Yes, I think so. How can I use this? There is a different picture in there.
Let's change it again. What do you want to do?
I want to take some other side from there.
Oh, you can control it as long as you look at that.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you are interested about this project, you can read this project plan, which tells you also a lot more about the organization. But it tells about, for example, this risk management model, what we have. I don't know how well this is, you can see this, but we have been making analysis about all the risks and all the time during the development phase, and also we do it still all the time, and because some risks can be eliminated by planning, searching, or planning new way to do it, but also the time will take care of some risks. But we have been making different kind of deals how we share the risks, because we want that we share the risks in the fair way. One for example is this, there was one area nearby the building site where we have to dig a lot of soil, and we knew that the area is polluted, and but we couldn't search it so well. We didn't know exactly how much there is going to be a polluted area. But then the client took 75% of these risks because the contractors and designers cannot do anything about it. But the alliance together is taking care of 25% of the same risks, because we want that the alliance do everything, because it carries some part of these risks, so that there is not going to be no needed costs for the clients. But I think shortly can say that every technical risks are taken care of alliance, and we share everything between the clients and service providers. This is the value for the money report, and here is some more information, for example, the tendering process. When this phase took about 6 months from the beginning, when we decided to start it, and when we announced that we are asking proposals for this, there was 5 consortiums in the beginning who wanted to take part of this competition. And during the processes, we were having workshops together, where we already used time to solve some problems what we knew will be in the project. So in these workshops we worked together already, and there was experts who were looking how we work together. We didn't evaluate the results of the workshops, but we evaluated how we work together, because we were all the time looking only the best team, best leadership, best people for the project. Okay. No, maybe if you want to ask something.
So I think the word is open. Any questions, Annette?
Hey, so I wonder about your 25-75 rule, how you select the project team. Did you always use these 25-75 weights, or does it depend on the lines? And how do you set these percentages?
So far we have using this 75% for the quality issues all the time, and 25% for the price component.
And who was setting these percentage or these weights?
After some experience and analysis.
Okay.
So can I build on that and ask whether you evaluated the quality aspects before you even looked at the costs?
Yeah.
You kept you asked for the cost information to be in a separate envelope, and that was kept sealed until you've decided what your priorities were in terms
Yeah.
of quality.
Yeah, quality issues has to be evaluated to the end before we open the letters. Where is the price?
Okay,
We
can
offer.
can I ask a question then about the evaluation of the teamwork? You said something like, we worked with each of the teams and there were people who watched us working with the
Yeah.
teams. So was that you, the owners, you, the Finnish Transport Agency, sat down and worked on a task with the teams,
Yes, yes, and
and they were evaluating the whole team working together?
yeah, and consortiums who were giving their proposals, they showed us that this is going to be the organization, and this way the owner, the experts from the owner side will be taking inside the organization. And for example, I was told that what is my job in the organization. And then we started to work in this kind of organization, and we worked together, and the outsiders, it was people from Tampere University who was taking the evaluation.
Evaluating.
Yes.
Good morning, my name is Ronaldo. I'm curious to know if you consider any contingency during the process of risk management, and if you allocate any of them, or just, well, that's the question, if you consider contingencies during the process.
Yes, of course, before the tendering process, the owners, as we knew because we did a risk analysis in the very beginning of the project, and we thought that these are the risks what we have been seeing and founding, and we also had been evaluating them. So what are the price of the risks and so on, and when we started to work in alliance, we were continuing about that. We search these risks list again, and then we start to analyze if there is some other risks what the owner side hasn't known, but the contractor knows that there will be this kind of risks, and the designer, of course, and then there is subcontractors and sub-designers. Also, they can find out some risks, what is involved in there. And then we start to put more risks on the lists, and we analyze them all the time and try to find what is the possibility, how obvious it will be that this risk is going to happen, and what is the price is this risk happen. And then after that we only calculate, and then in the same time we try to find some ways how we can get rid of some risks. Some risks we could put away, but something we can get to a lower level, but something has to be in there in the very end. And then there is technical risks, but there is also some risks. We don't know if some law or rules or regulations will change during the project, and we have to start to work and taking care of it. That kind of risks could be in there, but usually the owner side is taking care of them, because the contractors and designers, they cannot affect for those risks.
Hello, my name is Michael. I work as a client consultant for a company called NIAS. Thank you for your presentation. It's nice to see that this is happening outside of the US as well. My question, which is the same that I wanted to ask David, is this a one-size-fits-all solution, or are there some projects that are not fit for IPD. Could you elaborate on that?
As I thought before, there is now 23 different kind of alliances going on Finland, and I think it's not going to go so that one model fits everything, because every project is a little bit different, and you have to think about those, for example, key results areas or compensation system about performance. You have to look the qualities of the project very carefully. And I think that when there is some really difficult projects, if there is lots of complexity and lots of risks, then you should use this. And but if there is some very simple projects, also the more traditional forms of contracts are very useful.
If I may just comment on that, one could argue that if you have a very complex project, then introducing a new way of working that people are not familiar with will just add to the complexity.
Yes, I think when there is lots of complexity project and lots of problems what we have to solve, it will give a more boost for the people. So we heard before that everybody wants to do a good job. It's natural. And also in this project there is lots of different kind of risks, because we are in the center of Tampere city. There is lots of people nearby. We are making this tunnel under the groundwater level for the whole length, and many kind of risks in there, but also possibilities. And when there is two owners, Tampere city and Transport Agency, but there is also several other officers and contractors and subcontractors and designers and sub-designers. The way how we are working together, we have this so-called big room. We have gathered together. We are working in the same room, in the same office with these people. So it is much more better to solve problems when there is lots of knowledge from different parties.
David, it's you now, and you're of course welcome to comment on Michael's question as well, if it suits you.
Sure. There is a matter of scalability. One, the size of the project, the available funds, what effort is appropriate, both on alliancing and in an IPD agreement. So all of those are true. Alan drew my attention to a Glenn Ballard paper in 2009 that talked about, that you can look up, that it talks about there are some types of projects that IPD may not be appropriate for. I think it also talks about those projects that IPD is appropriate for. You know, we talked about it in terms of really optimistically, and we tend to be overly optimistic a lot. You know, we used to talk about it in terms of the only person on a particular project that was actually a hard number was the guy that's put the stripes on the parking lot. I'm at the end, right? So I think it's a matter of paying attention to the scalability and the restriction of the contracting method. I mean, here you're talking about a public project in contrasted to a private project that has less restrictive contractual ramifications or constrictions, right? Less constrictive constrictions, right? And it works, right? So we think of IPD as particularly good on complex, unpredictable projects. And that's all I have to say about that. I do. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm wrong a lot. But I think I saw that at least the incentives associated with safety were like in the 10% sort of range, kind of. Help me with this. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, the weight of this, yes.
Seemed a little. So, what was your safety record on the project? Or can you just speak about that?
How can I change this again? So the safety, its total weight is 20%. And this target is much more higher than usually in Finland. This means how many accidents there will happen when 1 million working hours has been done. And in infrastructure industry in Finland, the numbers are not so good, but this is higher than usually. And if we can achieve this, and we are in there now, there is still 0 points. We have to do much more better than usually if we want to have any bonuses. But those accidents, what have happened, has been so light, not any serious accidents, so there is only I think 35 days out from work because of them, so that's why there is a green light in there. Not any serious accidents, unfortunately.
So you think it was effective?
Yes, it is, because when we started, there will be lots of accidents in the beginning. But then we saw very early, there was a red light after 2 months working. There was a red light in here. But after that we have to think what we can do, how we can increase the level of the safety. And we have been doing a lot and using lots of money for it too. But now there is not happening. Now there was just 5 months period and no accidents at all. And in the same time, we are giving prizes for the people, to the workers, if they find out some problem. If they can see that there is something wrong in the building site, that this is not safe. If they document it, if they tell somebody, so we can register it, we can give a prize for it. So we are asking them to make some notifications of the problems in the same time when we try to avoid the accidents. And it's working quite well.
Sherwin?
Yes, thank you. My name is Sherwin Hakshano. I'm a university professor at Karlsruhe Institute of Technology from Germany. I'm contemplating a lot about these new models, and I've had a lot of discussions with decision-making people in Germany, and we have a lot of people who have doubts, and they stick very eagerly to the old system. And now, my first question is, you said you have 23 projects, which I think it's amazing, and there must have been some kind of a, I would say, tectonic event that people who live for decades in a certain system come and say, now we change everything we've done in the past. And I was wondering, was there any kind of, I would say, tectonic event or something that shook up the people there? And on which level is this decision being made? On which management level is this being made? And what were the success factors in your view that these people who at least have the responsibility? Because if you do something completely new and it goes wrong, then you have a problem. And so these people, I think they have taken the courage. And can you say a little bit on that? Do you have any insight on that, how this developed? And then I have a second question, but I will come to that after your answer.
Yes, we were searching about new models systematically, because it is, we saw that we knew long time that there is some problems. We were not so satisfied how we work or cooperate with the service providers. And also they knew the same thing. There was lots of arguing, and we have to, during the project, we have to read the contracts, and we have to discuss a lot about problems and costs, delays, and everything like that. And nobody was happy about this. And so FTA started to look if we can find something new, and then we find this alliance model, and we trained ourselves for it. Mm-hmm. And in the same time, we give market information for the service providers. We told that these kind of projects, we want to try to use this method, and we are going to use alliance method, and we told what kind of tendering process is going to be, and we asked them if this is okay. But everybody in the industry says that yes, we should try something new. And after that, they also started to train themselves. And this way it happens, and it is true that when you come to work, there is some people, for example, designers in our project, who are making 50% of their working hours for this project, and then they have something else. And we saw that it's a small problem, because when you big room working in the alliance, where everybody is working very openly, and we are working in the same space all the time, and there is no secrets. They have a little bit difficulties to come in the alliance project, and they have to change a little bit different mode in their head, and then they go to do some other project. They have to change again. So we told them that if you are doing some other job, you can still sit in our big room, and you can do the work here, no problem, because it is a great benefit to the alliance project if the person is still sitting in there, because everybody can go and ask something from him.
So basically, you would say it was the initiative of you as the owner, and it was due to the general experience you made in the past, and you wanted to change something.
Yes.
So
yes.
It's more sounds a little bit more like an evolution than a revolution, but that's fine, because we have this, this single event in Germany. That's the most famous not completed airport in the world. so and this is something we're working on to use this event, which is kind of tectonic, to convince people who are decision makers that maybe we should try something else. My second question was regarding the development of the target costs. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to make sure whether I understood that correctly. You said that when you go into the process choosing the partner, the construction partner, you don't ask them to give you a target cost, but you say this is our budget. Is that correct?
Yes, we didn't want to have price offer. But
okay,
we told that when we are implementing this project, our estimate is that the direct cost will be 150 million euros in this Tampere tunneling project.
Yeah.
And this is our estimate.
And the estimate is also your budget?
Yes, the estimate based on our budget.
Okay.
But we say that this is only a theoretical sum. But when you are giving your fee offer, you can think that the direct cost will be 150 million euros.
Okay,
and based on that, they gave the fee offer.
That's okay. I'm referring to you had this one chart where you showed how the target cost developed from, I don't know, 220 to 180. Yeah, exactly. So this first number, this 220, when does that show up? Does that show up, I mean, after the company has been chosen as the potential partner for going into this process?
Yes.
Or is that number known during the process you choose him?
Yes. There is this price, 185 million euros. That was the budget, and it was based on the street plan,
yeah.
road plan. And we knew that there is some risks in there. We didn't know what is going to be the final sum if we ask proposals, for example, design and build. We thought that this could be somewhere between 200 and 230 million euros maybe. It was only guess, but we didn't know. But this came out after we have chosen the partners. So when we first time look at the prices and the risks together, then we find out that this is the real sum if we don't do anything for the risks, or if we don't can find any innovations.
Okay, so you didn't expect him to or them to give you an indicative or a cost estimate before they are chosen.
No.
And now comes
only the fee offer.
Okay. And now one argument that I very often hear from people who are against this model is when someone comes in and he's chosen, and then you go into your first discussions regarding the costs, and then you come to this number of 220, and then you try to develop that number towards your budget. So how do you assure that the changes that are being suggested or that are being developed on the one hand, and the cost that is assigned to those changes, that they are in balance? Because this is something that people often say, that the company may make suggestions, but the cost reduction sum that is assigned to that may not go with that. Was that understandable what I'm up to?
I think so.
Okay. So, and this is a fear that owners have, that they say, I choose someone, he says it's 220, he could have said it's 225, and then he tries to get some benefit, or I would say an over-average benefit through this process. How would you argument against that?
Yeah, First, one thing about Alliance, how we are doing when we are working in Alliance, is this. We have to agree about everything. When we make some decisions, we never vote. But also, in this project, we didn't allow to do such kind of changes which lower the quality, or if we don't build everything what we have to build. Everything, ideas and innovations which lower the price, came from how we can be more with better productivity. And then when we come back to this picture, it doesn't matter where we start. We know that this is our budget. It is the same for the contractor side and designers and service providers. If they say 220 million or something more or less, it doesn't matter, because we all knew that this is our budget. We say that if during the development phase, if we cannot go under this, we are not going to move to the implementation phase. It was clear to everybody that this is not going to happen if we are somewhere in here. Something must be done. And we only set new targets all the time. We have to find some ways how we can handle this cost, and also there is an outsider expert who is supervising this process all the time, and he, in the end of this project, when all the partners of alliances are agreed that this is the right sum, then he will give a comment for that. That is the target price tight enough, or is it loose, or is it too tight? Because it's not good if you can go under this target price too easily.
I'm getting a gesture from Alan that Annette and David really want to comment on this. So shouldn't we let Annette start?
So I want to give another example. So with UCSF, they're building Mission Hall. They set a really tight budget during the bid process. So the three parties who entered the bid process after pre-qualification, they knew it is pretty hard to get to this budget. And when I talked to the contractors, the design build team, they said we were like 20% over at the beginning. And then during the bid process, when the value of the client gets more clear, they start innovation processes. And through these innovation processes, they got to the budget. And the teams, I mean, every team submitted to this budget in the end. But if one of the teams wouldn't be over budget, they wouldn't be accepted. So they have to go through this budget.
It's a different process.
Yeah, it's different. It's different, but it's also answering the question. You said a budget before, right?
Yes.
That's not what normally in traditional submission happens, because you calculate something and you submit, and the cheapest one is getting the bid. But here you got a budget and you have to work with this budget to submit.
Yes, but I think you can deal with the same process if you have budget or not. It doesn't matter. But in our case, there was a certain budget, and we knew that if we are over it, we are not going to implement this project, because that was the level how the Tampere city and Finnish government has been decided before, that this project will make value for the customers, for the people, if it doesn't cost more than 185 million.
Right.
If it go over, it is too expensive.
Yes,
and it's not good anymore. But the meaning of the whole development phase is that have to find those right targets.
David, did you have a comment?
I always have an opinion. Well, first of all, when you're managing this project, 220 million represents the point at which you start shitting your pants, right? I mean, you're really alarmed, right? But the difference between the best estimate, first of all, what he's describing here really is tantamount to a validation study. They get to it a little bit differently, but a little bit more methodically, in some ways a little more intelligently, but they're in Finland, so they're smarter than Americans usually. So they did their best estimate on red line at 185, and they did two things. They in essence, they added risk. They did a risk analysis and added those values up to get to this what they think is an outrageous valued place. And then they gathered the people together, got in a room, had the right conversations to drive the price logically and reasonably, which often escapes us as humans. Both that along with wisdom is rare. So they set to wring the waste out of the system. So the way we look at it is you do your best estimate of what you think a reasonable cost is. Here it was 185. Everything above that is waste. So it's risk is waste. Contingency is waste. Those are the two big categories, in my view. So by conversation, the logical and reasonable conversation about addressing each and every risk, do they make a collective decision of what to do about it? Is this something that is really real, or is it just black magic? And I mean, it takes all kinds, right, to make a village. And so there's the alarmist, and you want the alarmist on the project, but you also want the voice of reasoning on the project so you can balance it back and forth to wring the waste out. And that anything above the red line, from our perspective, represents waste until it's logically and reasonably grabbed hold of and driven to ground to make sense out of it, to where you can get to a logical pledge, collaborative, collective pledge. Now, we said these things at LIPS in Karlsruhe, and there was a lawyer in the room, and he went, "Nah, you're out of here. I don't want any of that." They're not buying it, right? It was described to us as the German way is if the process is not working, then you put another little mark on your ruler so that you can measure it in more detail, right? So I think, both IPD and this alliancing process get to the same place about this. Is that helpful at all?
Yeah. Steen, you had a comment, and then I think we should let Mauri finish after that.
Yeah, thank you, Mauri, for addressing interesting points about alliancing. Could you bring clarity to one issue that was addressed this morning by Alan Mossman, the role or the inclusion of the subcontractors in the development process? As I understood you, the subcontractors are not directly part of the alliance, or are they? Have they signed an agreement? And how are they actually compensated for contributing to this process if they're not guaranteed to get a part of the implementation contract? Do you get my question?
Yes, the subcontractors and sub-designers, they are not part of the alliance.
No.
They are not. They haven't signed the same contract, but we have put in their contracts such kind of can find it. This incentive system, so we have took some values what are important to us and put also in these contracts bonus sanction system which is based on these, and we are able to pay bonuses all the time for the subcontractors when they do something what is leading the project in those targets what we have been think that they are value for the money. We don't have to even know what kind of innovations or ideas they do, and if they are working in the beginning of the implementation phase, for example 2 months, they are doing their own delivery. We don't have to wait until the whole project is ready and done before we pay them some bonuses. If we can see and if they can prove that this is something useful and it is best for the project, then we can give bonuses for them.
Okay.
And in every contract is that kind of possibility inside.
Great.
And also we take them with the big room and work together with us and tell openly everything what we have, and they can see how much we pay to main contractor and to the designers and everything. Everything is open.
Let that be the finishing remark. Let's say thank you to Mauri. Give him a hand.